Hello. For this week only, I'll be doing videos instead of class calls, just because because of the test and the review class. So, if I didn't do this, then we're going to really fall behind. So the days that you're not at class doing the review class or the test, you will be doing the law of sines and cosines at home on your own. So today, this topic this week that you're doing on your own is called solving oblique triangles. Now, what is an oblique triangle? Hopefully you remember from previous years, oblique triangles that are not a right angle triangle. Up until now, we've been doing right angle triangles. All we've been using is SOHCAHTOA, or the grade 11 version of XYR. That only works when you have a right angle triangle. So how do you solve triangles that aren't right angle triangle? Well, you can't use SOHCAHTOA. So we have other formulas that we use when we have a triangle that's not right angle triangle. So when we have our triangles, A, B, C, we use capital letters for the angles. So the angles would be capital A, capital B, capital C. And we use lowercase letters for the sides. The sides are lowercase a, lowercase b, lowercase c. It doesn't matter which one you make A, B, C for the angles, but the sides are always opposite. So side A is opposite angle A. Side B is opposite angle B, and side C is opposite angle C. So as long as you have the sides opposite to the angles, it does not matter which angle you make where. Okay, so if you understand that, all you have to do is label your triangles, and then you choose the correct formula, and what do you like to say? Plug and chug. Then it's pretty easy. So you should be okay on your own with these two lessons this week. You do need a calculator, and you do need a scientific calculator with you for this week. So it's the one time not only can you use a calculator, you have to use a calculator for pre-cal this week. So today we're going to look at the law of sines. In the next class, we'll look at the law of cosines. Is there a law of tangents? Yes, there is, but we don't have to look at it in grade 11. So we just have to learn the law of sines and cosines this year. So the law of sines are used in two different cases. When you have side angle angle or side side angle. So when you have a side and then the next two angles, or a side side angle. And again, we always do side side angle, never angle side side. Think about that one. Okay, so the law of sines is on your formula sheet. So far, the only formula we've learned so far is the quadratic formula. So that was given. You won't have to memorize it. On your formula sheet, you do get the law of sines, so you don't need to memorize this either. So the formula for the law of sines is A over sine A equals B over sine B equals C over sine C. Even though there's three ratios, you're only going to be using two out of the three ratios for any particular question. How do you know which ones to use? Well, it's based on what they've given you. It's basically just like solving for the gas laws. Those of you that are in grade 11 chemistry, they're going to give you three out of the four variables. You insert, you rearrange and solve for the fourth and final variable. So the gas laws in chemistry, I think you've been doing some kinematics and physics, so you're used to choosing the formula, inserting, rearranging, and solving with a calculator. So this shouldn't be that hard at all for you this week. So let's do two examples. So the first example, they tell us we're solving for side A, and they give us the triangle already. So ABC, they give us angle A is 41, angle B is 56. They don't give us side A, but they give us 19.3 meters. Now, this side, because it's opposite angle A, would be side B. So clearly, which two out of the three are we going to use? We're going to use A over sine A equals B over sine B. They didn't give us the C values, and we don't need them because we have enough right now to solve for side A based on the ratios matching up with the angle B and side B. So step one, choose your formula. Like I said, I'm going to connect it to chemistry. It's exactly like the gas laws. Step one, choose the formula. There's four variables. You will be given three out of the four variables. So we insert side A, we don't know, that's what we're solving for. We know that angle A is 41 degrees. We know that side B is 19.3 meters and angle B is 56 degrees. And just like the gas laws, how do we solve? We cross multiply. To solve for A would be sine 41 degrees times 19.3 meters divided by, oh, I missed it, there was a sine 56 degrees, not just 56. And then divided by sine 56 degrees. And then you rearrange and solve, and you use your calculator. So you do need a scientific calculator. Plus, you have to make sure it's in the right mode. It should naturally be in the degrees mode. If you've never used it before, there's no reason why you should have switched out of it. There's another mode called radians, which we'll use in grade 12 chemistry. There's no reason why you should have switched by now, but sometimes that happens. So if you're not getting the right answer, make sure your mode on your calculator is in degrees. Otherwise, that might lead you to an incorrect answer. If your calculator is in the correct mode and you use it correctly, the answer should be 15.2730584, and you do need the units, which is meters. Now, you finally have learned your sig figs for chemistry and for physics. Do we use sig figs in pre-cal? Nope, the question will tell you ahead of time how many times to round off to. So always just follow the instructions. I think for the most part, your textbook has you solving lengths to the nearest tenth of a decimal, and then or tenth, one decimal place, and then your angles to the nearest degree. So just read your questions. They don't always match sig figs. Sorry, chemistry and physics students, but that's how the math rules go. So very easy. Choose 2 out of the 3 ratios, insert, rearrange, solve, round with the correct unit. So there's only 2 things they can ask you. You either solve for a missing side or a missing angle. So let's do our second and final example here. This time, oh, and I did have a typo in the notes. I think the note says solve for side angle A. Obviously that side is a typo. That shouldn't say side, you're just solving for angle A. That's the sign for angle. So in this question, they give you angle B, and they give you side B and side A. Again, C isn't involved. Now, maybe my 2 examples are misleading. Do you ever use C over sine C? Yes, it depends on what's given in the question. And my 2 examples, they just happen to be A over sine A equals B over sine B. So again, choose the correct 2 ratios, insert and solve. We know that side A is 5, and we know that angle A, oh, we don't know angle A, that's what we're solving for. We know side B is 8, and we know angle B is, well, my writing's hard to read, that's an 80 degrees. Again, once you insert to rearrange and solve, you cross multiply. So now sine A is equal to 5 times sine 80 divided by 8. Again, use your calculator. You should get the answer of 0.61550484556. Now, we're not done. That's sine A. We want angle A. So we did learn how to do this back in grade 10 math. So to solve for angle A, you have to do the inverse sine of, and just like chemistry and physics, do not round off to the final step. If you round off first, your answer will be incorrect. So you do hold all the decimals in your calculator. You did learn last year in your calculator to do the inverse sine function. It'll probably be the inverse or second function sine. And then you type it in, and your angle should be 38 degrees. And again, we round off to the nearest degree. So for today's lesson, it's pretty straightforward, law of sine. You just choose the 2 ratios, insert and solve. You're either solving for a missing side and a missing angle. I did leave other lessons. There's a whole other lesson called the ambiguous case. I left it in the package. We aren't going to do it now. If we have time at the end of the course, we will. But in terms of all the key outcomes, law of sine and cosines do not come up in grade 12 pre-cal. But they do come up in other classes, sometimes in some science courses. So you do need to know the law of sines and law of cosines. The ambiguous case and the word problems I'm omitting for now. And like I said, if we can get a handle on the law of sine and cosine, I haven't hurt your math and science career anywhere in the future by missing the word problems and ambiguous case for now. Okay, so good luck with the assignment. Like I said, the assignments are always at the bottom of the sheet. Plus, they are posted on my website, so check the website daily. And next lesson I'll have posted is for the law of cosines. But then next week we'll be back to the class calls once we're done the test for this week. Bye.